Welcome to Creepy Explorer's new video. It's been a while since we've uploaded. We've had some personal issues that have made it difficult to upload anything, but we've still been posting to our Instagrams. The links to both profiles are in the description below, so please feel free to check them out. We did plan a fancy intro to this video. We're in Wiltshire at Westbury Cemetery, which is overlooked by the Westbury White Horse. We plan to go up to the top of the hill and capture a time lapse of the sunrise. So we set out at 5 AM from Cardiff to make sure that we got here and had time to set up before the sun came up. When we arrived, it was pitch dark and it was a little bit misty, but I was confident that we'd be able to get the shot and it'd still work. So we got our torches out and we began to look around for somewhere to set up. That's when I shone my torch on the field behind us, and as I did, I saw the figure of a man just stood in the misty darkness. It looked like he was just staring at us. It was really creepy, and the mist made it look even worse. So we decided it was probably best to leave. We didn't know who it was, we didn't know what they were doing. We found out later there's actually an art installation up there, and it's called Respect the Range. This art installation features 29 silhouettes, and what I saw was actually one of them, but the mist obscured the rest of the silhouettes, so it just looked really creepy. And it just looked like a creepy guy just stood alone in the dark, misty night, just staring at us. I'm going to include a link below just in case you want to learn more about the sculpture. But it's to remind people to respect the fact that just behind it is Salisbury Plain, which is a live firing range. So it's up there to remind people of that and tell people to be careful. Now, I first visited Westbury Cemetery about 30 years ago. I've always found it a peaceful place to be. The cemetery itself was opened in 1857. The first burial was then in May of the same year. Work had begun the year before with the landscaping and setting the boundaries, and it cost approximately £4,000 at the time. That works out to about £600,000 today. The site contains two dedicated chapels, one of which is a Church of England chapel and the other was for nonconformists. Both of them are still standing, but they're sadly both locked up and they're unused. There's also 3 standalone mausoleums on site, which we'll be talking about later. This is the Laverton plot. The stone and the cross are breathtakingly beautiful. Abraham Laverton was a cloth mill owner. He was a politician and a valued member of the community as a whole. Abraham came from a humble weaver's family in Trowbridge, but he became one of the richest men in the West Country, owning both Angel and Bitham mills in Westbury. He built the Laverton Institute, which was used as a school, a public library and a meeting room for the town. The building is now used today by Westbury Town Council. He built Prospect Square, which has 39 houses and several almshouses for retired and disabled mill workers. He also founded an infant school, donated the Great West Window at All Saints Church, and initiated the building of Westbury's indoor swimming pool, which would be finished in 1888 by his nephew after his death. Next, we've got the Ludlow Mausoleum. The small chapel-style building was built in 1899 for Henry Charles Lopes. Now, I haven't made a mistake there. The Lopes Mausoleum was actually made for a Lopes, and this is due to how the Ludlows made their money. They married the money. Abraham Ludlow was a doctor from Bristol, and he married Elizabeth Gibbs, who was the widow of Gaysford Gibbs, who had been an incredibly wealthy clothier, and he owned Haywood House, which is just outside of Westbury. The male line then of the Ludlows carried on marrying into richer families. However, in 1817, the Ludlows didn't have any more male heirs. So Susan Gibbs Ludlow was married to Sir Ralph Lopes, which then meant that she was marrying into the richest family in the area and one of the richest families in England. By far the most impressive monument is that of the Phipps Mausoleum. Anybody who's been to Westbury Cemetery will know this place, they will have seen it. It's a massive structure. The cross at the top of the structure is roughly 30 feet from the ground level, and there's at least another 10 to 20 feet below ground. It was built in 1871 for John Lewis Phipps. John Lewis Phipps died in either 1870 or 1871. While I've been researching this, both dates have been mentioned. It's more likely that he passed away in 1871, as the mausoleum would have been started once he passed away. John Lewis Phipps bought a Brazilian coffee company with his brother and ran it between the two of them. At its peak, it turned over £2 million a year. That's around £310 million today's money. He also won a parliamentary seat for Westbury in the 1868 election. However, that seat was stripped from him when it came out that his agent had used bribery and intimidation to get the votes. Now, I got to stress that it's worded that his agent did this, which means that it wasn't him, and he was cleared of any wrongdoing when it was actually looked into, but he still lost his seat because of it. Right next to the tower in Phipps Mausoleum stands the Lopes Mausoleum. The Lopes were one of the richest families in the country, and they were by far the wealthiest family in Westbury. Originally, the Lopes were Sephardic Jews who fled Portugal for Jamaica in the 1600s. Over the years, the family made a huge fortune through sugarcane plantations before they arrived in Westbury in 1810, becoming significant landowners. The family included Henry Charles Lopes, who became the first Baron Ludlow when the title was revived in 1897. The mausoleum was built for George Lopes and his wife in 1909. Years in the future, the family would then give the mausoleum to the Zoological Society, who still own it to this day. On a personal level, I find it interesting that the two wealthiest families, the Lopes and the Lavertons monuments, are dwarfed by the Phipps Mausoleum, and I think it says something about the people they were and the people that they were built to commemorate. Abraham Laverton has the smallest and least ornate, but he does seem to have been the better man. John Lewis Phillips has the biggest, most ornate resting place, but from my research he seems to have been a bit of a villain and not a very nice human being. And then there's the Lopeses. They far outstripped both in terms of wealth and history, and their contribution was mainly positive to the town, but it was done to further their political standing rather than for the good of the people. The cemetery is currently owned and maintained by Westbury Town Council, who also owns two of the three mausoleums. The mausoleums are Grade 2 listed buildings, and I hope that they can be saved and restored for future generations to enjoy. Now I'm going to shut up now and let you enjoy the rest of the video. Hope you enjoy it. So here we are at the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed our look around Westbury Cemetery. As you can see from the video, I've done a lot of research into the historical backgrounds of the mausoleums and the people that they were built for. I'd like you to let us know whether you like that or whether you would prefer videos without like voiceovers. We're obviously quite new to doing this, so your input would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully it won't be very long until we do another video, and we look forward to seeing you in that video. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you again soon.